Alright guys, what is up? We are back, Sportsman Survivor, with the Day 6 NHL recap. I know this video is coming out a little bit late, but whatever, I'm still posting. And today, there are some good games, and I'm here to recap it all. So as always, we start off with the round robin games. And first, we have the Philadelphia Flyers beating the Washington Capitals by a score of 3-1, with Kevin Hayes putting up 3 points. And as you guys can see in the standings, the Tampa Bay Lightning with 4, followed by Philadelphia also with 4, Washington with 1, and in last place the Bruins with 0. And really, doesn't this just set up perfectly for a Tampa Bay versus Philly game? Just like in the West, I'll get to that later, but that's all this game did. It got us prepared for the Tampa Bay versus Philly game, because that game will determine who gets first place. And yeah, Philly showed they're a top team. If anyone had doubts that maybe they were just good in the regular season, they're heating up and they weren't going to do anything in the playoffs with the long break, well, you guys got proved wrong so far, in my opinion, and Philadelphia could really go far. So Flyers fans watching this, get excited, y'all. Then we get to the second round robin game with the Vegas Golden Knights beating the St. Louis Blues, defending Cup champions, by a score of 6-4 in a very high-scoring game, with Shea Theodore putting up 2 points, and for the Blues, Colton Parayko putting up 2 points, and almost the exact same standing as the East, with Colorado 4, Vegas tied with 4, and then St. Louis has 0, same with Dallas with 0, so also a Colorado versus Vegas game will determine the first spot, which is huge, and kind of the same thing as the Philadelphia game. Vegas proved they can make a really deep run, and people need to once again appreciate Vegas has been in the league 3 years and have been top contenders every year, which is insane. So shout out to the coaches and GMs and most of all players for that. But yeah, let's move on, guys. Then we get to the early game, the first of 3 qualifier games between the Vancouver Canucks and the Minnesota Wild, game 3. And as you guys can see, the Canucks win big 3-0, returning the favor from game 1. And they take a 2-1 series lead and are 1 win away from advancing to the actual 16-team playoffs, with Quinn Hughes putting up a big 3 points for the Canucks. And this game, it was pretty even in the first, where then the Canucks just started to take over. And Markstrom, I feel like, will be a brick wall now that he's got his confidence. He got his first playoff win in game 2, and now he has his first playoff shutout the next game. First time Canucks have won back-to-back playoff games. Or 2 consecutive playoff games in a row since 2011. So it's a big deal for, I guess, us in Vancouver over here and us Canuck fans. But yeah, Canucks put up a good performance. And after game 1, if you guys remember that, I was saying Wild were going to win this unless Canucks change up their game plan. And to my eyes, at least, they have, which makes me think they should win game 4 and they should move on. Whew. Now we go to the next one. Should I save this one for last? We all know this is the story of the day. But you know what? We got to talk about it. Sorry, Leaf fans. Blue Jackets beat the Toronto Maple Leafs comeback win by a score of 4-3, as they are now 1 win away in the same spot as the Vancouver Canucks, with Pierre-Luc Dubois getting a hat-trick for the Blue Jackets. And man, oh man, where do I even start? I know if this happened to the Canucks, I would be fuming, especially in this 5-game series, blowing a 3-0 lead. Just didn't look good at all, and I don't know how the Leafs will bounce back. I don't know if they will. A lot of people are saying, you know what, the series is over anyway. Even if Toronto wins game 4, they're losing game 5. But I don't know. We're here to talk about this game, and man, that comeback, it was a very subtle comeback. It wasn't the Boston Bruins Leafs game 7 sort of comeback where it was 3 goals in about 10 minutes. This was throughout a period and a half. Good coaching by Tortorella, taking out Korpisalo, which is very questionable after he performed really good in game 1 and 2. But he obviously made the right choice. He made the right adjustments throughout the game, and the Blue Jackets took the dub. It was a really good last 5 minutes of a really good third period, really, as there were a lot of chances, some goals, and the overtime. The first half seemed in Toronto's favor, second half in Columbus, where eventually Columbus just took advantage and they scored to get the overtime win, which is huge. So game 4 tomorrow, and we'll get into the games tomorrow. But yeah, Leaf fans, just pray for the best, y'all. Then the final game of the day, the Calgary Flames beat the Winnipeg Jets and win the series 3-1 in game number 4 and advance to the playoffs, the second team out of the qualifiers to advance from the playoffs, along with the Carolina Hurricanes, which seemed like ages ago where they swept the Rangers. But yeah, it felt really bad for Winnipeg, to be honest. They just losing so many of their star players, injuries, not to mention the whole Bufflin incident at the beginning of the year. Not incident, just his thought process and why he wanted to leave and stuff. But yeah, just a lot of good players leaving, getting injured, and they just didn't seem there. Not in the matter of their heart and their grit was there. They just couldn't keep up with Calgary. It was impossible. And shout out to Calgary for moving on. But Winnipeg, you guys will definitely be back, hopefully with a good lineup. So for all the Jet fans watching, keep your heads up. And y'all will be back, and maybe with Alexis Lafreniere. But anyway, Calgary getting a big dub. Sam Bennett putting up 2 points, and they move on. First team out of the West. Alright, so now we move on to MVP of the day, and it was between two people, Pierre-Luc Dubois and Quinn Hughes, as Quinn Hughes played a lot of minutes, was the quarterback for the power play. And obviously I'm a Canucks fan, so there could be bias in there, but I still decided to give it to Pierre-Luc Dubois, as he was definitely the most valuable player, putting up a hat trick. Even after a big, confrontation with John Tortorella, he showed up. He showed that he can perform under pressure, which makes him the MVP of the day. And, this game could really change this whole series, as I thought Toronto were going to win out. I thought they were going to win game 3 and 4 and move on, but now who knows? So yeah, Pierre-Luc Dubois gets MVP of the day, and now we move on to the headlines. So the 3 headlines, first off, we start off with shutouts, as Jacob Markstrom and Cam Talbot putting up big shutouts. Calgary to move on, and Vancouver with a big win to be 1 win away. We're moving on. And yeah, both goalies look great. Cam Talbot was more of like a I told you guys so, because he was a free agent. Everyone, all the fan bases, including me, kind of thought he was done for. But a big game today, which proves he still got it. And then we have the Markstrom shutout, which was more of a, yeah, I'm here to stay, because he's had a lot of hype. And maybe after letting in 2 goals in game 1 and 3 goals in game 2, some people thought maybe playoff Markstrom isn't as good as we thought. Big shutout today. Then we go to the round robin statement wins, as Vegas and Philadelphia both putting up big wins, as they are now going to be playing their respective games, and that will determine first spot. So it's a big statement win, as they're proving that they're one of maybe the best team coming out of the East or the West, if not the second best team. So big statement wins on their ends, and very good games as well, especially the Vegas-St. Louis one. Final headline is, sorry Leaf fans again, turn it off if you want. Another Leafs heartbreak. Seems like in the playoffs, at least recently, the Toronto Maple Leafs has had the worst luck and the biggest heartbreak, and this was just another one to add onto the list. Shout out to my boy Steve Dangle. He's probably going through it right now. But yeah, it was just a classic Toronto downfall, and that's coming from me, a Canucks fan. So I'm still saying we have downfalls, but I think Toronto's on another level, as they just 3-0 up, especially in a 5-game series. In 7 games, you can bounce back. 5-game series, they can literally be eliminated tomorrow, and this game was just so huge. But yeah, and now to wrap it all up, we go to the games tomorrow, and man, oh man, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the day that I have been looking forward to the most out of all the days so far. The only one that comes close is maybe when the Canucks are playing, or day 1. But all in all, overall, this day is definitely the one I'm most excited for, as every single game is a game 4, and every single game is an elimination game. So we start off with the Islanders versus the Panthers at 9 a.m. It feels like almost all their games have been at 9 a.m. for me. But yeah, so that's the Islanders can move on. Arizona versus the Predators at 11:30 a.m. Coyotes can move on. Montreal versus Pittsburgh game 4. 1 p.m. Montreal can move on. Chicago versus Edmonton game 4, 3:45 p.m. Chicago can move on. Columbus Toronto game 4, 5 p.m. Columbus can move on. And then to wrap up a big day, we got the Wild versus the Canucks game 4, 7:45 p.m. This is all at Pacific time, and it's going to be a great day. Hopefully we see some teams forcing game 5. Of course I want my Canucks to just end it, but yeah, hopefully we see some teams forcing game 5. And even though I don't really like the Leafs that much, I still want Canadian teams to advance, as it makes it more interesting for me, because no disrespect to Columbus fans, but I'd much rather be more invested in a Boston versus Toronto series rather than a Columbus versus Boston. So yeah, go Canadian teams for today, or for tomorrow I should say, but especially go Canucks go. And yeah guys, I'll see you tomorrow for a big Day 7 recap and Day 8 preview. Peace out y'all, thanks for watching.